Hey guys, so I'm back. I'm Sharice Burton. I'm a business strategist and content specialist. And I want to talk today about being more direct. Maybe that's the issue that I'm seeing because I know I've shared with you already that I have run across a lot of people who felt like knowing their ideal client was a lot easier than speaking to their ideal client. And to me, those two things go hand in hand, that when you know how your ideal client thinks, what their core values are, what they're worried about, what they get happy about, what their mission is, when you know all those things, then developing content for your ideal client to know that you are speaking directly to them is actually rather simple, or it can be rather simple. And I'm going to give you a couple of examples because I know I talked about the 25 prompts the other day about getting into the brain, getting deeper into the brain of your ideal client, and filling out those questions, filling out those prompts, answering and thinking through all those are what's going to really help you figure out how to create specific direct content. And that's what you want, because if you're still speaking to people on the surface, you're still throwing out a way too big of a net. You're throwing out such a huge net that it's not capturing anybody. You're not being specific enough. And so here's a couple of examples I'm going to give you. I want to talk about, let's say that you're a money coach in this first example. Let's say you're a money coach and that you have already established that your ideal clients, some of their core values are, for example, freedom and family. Okay, their core values are freedom and family. The next question, or one of the prompts on there for you to think through, is how do they spend their morning? Do they have a morning routine? Do they like to get up early, 5 or 6, and spend time meditating or praying or reading their Bible or reading a book or exercising? What does their morning routine look like? Or do they sleep in? Do they like to sleep till 10 o'clock and work different hours? So let's say your ideal client is that person. You've answered the questions and you know their core values. Some of their core values are freedom to do whatever they want, and their family, super important. So let's say that your ideal client's morning routine is that they like to sleep in. They like to sleep in and work their work day from 10 to 7 or 10 to 8. That's their choice because it's their freedom to choose that. So you would write or build content or create an email that would maybe speak to them, sort of like having the freedom to choose your work hours. Maybe you prefer to work 10 to 7, so you sleep in. Building a business between the hours of 10 and 7 is your focus, and that's what I do. Maybe that's how your ideal client knows you're speaking to them, because since you jumped on and captured the fact that one of their core values is freedom and their freedom to choose, and the fact that they like to sleep in the mornings, then you orchestrate your content to speak to those specific areas. That ideal client who feels very passionate, it's very important to them to have the freedom to choose what they do, that they have the freedom to choose to sleep in and work a different work day. I used to have some friends that were doctors, and I still have friends. They're still friends that were doctors, and the spouse, he didn't get home until sometimes 10 o'clock at night. But the family wanted to have the freedom to still have dinner together. So they adjusted their schedules. They adjusted the schedule of the family, and they homeschooled, so they were able to do that. So their kids would go to bed at 11 and sleep in. They would homeschool, but that gave them the opportunity to have time and dinner with their father when he got home from work. So this particular client that you're dealing with, let's say, like I said, one of their core values is freedom to choose whatever they want to do. And that another one of the things that's important to them that you know about your ideal client is that they like to sleep in. So you just connected those two pieces of the puzzle for them, and the light just went off in their head, knowing you might be their person because you just spoke to having the freedom and having the freedom to choose to sleep in. That was the second thing that we know about them. So they're automatically going to know you're calling their name, right? So that's what your content is going to look like when you know the answers to those really in-depth questions. So I've got a couple more examples, okay? Let's say that you're a business coach. Let's say you're a business coach and you know about your ideal client, that you have decided about your ideal client. You know that their time is limited. Maybe they've got a lot of kids. Maybe they work full time with a lot of kids. Maybe they're a single parent, but you know that one of the things about your ideal client is that their time is limited. And because their time is limited, they like to listen to training or support or information on their commute to work. So you might put together an email or content that sounds something like speaking to your ideal client who is busy, who has a limited time, and that you provide short snippets of information for your ideal client to listen to on their way to work. You just took what you knew about your ideal client and you inserted it into the content. So that way, that person who has limited time, who likes to listen to training or support on their commute, and you mentioned both of those things, but if you don't know those things about your ideal client, if you haven't figured that out about your ideal client, then you don't know how to be that direct. You don't know how to be that specific. And when you are that specific and that direct, your ideal client, just like I said a while ago, feels like you are calling them by name. Okay, I have another example. Let's say, still a business coach, let's say that they are passionate. Your ideal client, one of the things they are passionate about is providing their family with experiences, with all kinds of different experiences. That's what they're passionate about. Therefore, your content, your email, your posts might look something like helping your clients building businesses that gives them the ability to provide all types of experiences for their family, that gives them the ability financially to provide all different types of experiences for their family. You just spoke to providing experiences that we know, we just said, is one of their passions. And we spoke to the experiences that they want to give their family, and they need to have the money to provide those experiences. That's what they're passionate about, is being able to provide those experiences. Therefore, they want to build a business that gives them the income to provide those experiences. So you speak specifically to that. You speak to building a business that provides them the income, that allows them to build and provide the experiences that they want to for their family. You just take what you know about your ideal client and you put it in the content. You put it in the email. You put it in the impact statement, because that's when that ideal client reads that. That's when they know you're calling their name. Like I've said, this is like the third time I think I've said that, but I can't stress enough how much more direct your content needs to be. It needs to be that direct so they feel like you are reading their mind. And lastly, I'm going to share one that is more along the lines of a health coach or a mental wellness coach or a trauma coach. This one is that, for example, let's say we know about your ideal client that they struggle with depression. They're concerned about how they show up online. They don't want to present themselves in a vulnerable manner because it makes them very uncomfortable. But we also know, because we went through those 25 prompts, that one of the things that attracted them to you about your online presence was your confidence online and your genuine support and energy that just transferred through the screen. That's what drew them to you. So you might speak to them in a post or an email. You might speak to them about being genuine, about overcoming an obstacle, and share something that you have overcome, because that connects them to what they're struggling with and you. So speak to something that you've overcome. Speak about being vulnerable and how being vulnerable helps you show up authentically and brings the right people to them. So you took what you knew about them. You took what you knew about them, that they struggle with depression, that they're concerned about being seen vulnerable online. They're worried about what that's going to look like and how that will make them show up online. But you also know that they really connected with your presence online because of how you showed up. So you might speak to them in your content in ways that are directly related to what they're concerned about. So they know that you get them. So they know that you are reading their mind. That's how they're going to know that you are the obvious choice for them. That's why I've kind of been harping on this whole ideal client, ideal avatar for quite a while now. I think the whole month of March, because I still see people not getting it. It's very subjective. I see people saying they're outgoing, they're conscientious, they're determined. Well, if they're in business, they're probably all of those things, but we want to go deeper. I see powerhouse, and I've said that, I want to work with a fast implementer. I like working with people who implement their actions quickly. They don't drag their feet, that they work, they do what's put in front of them. But I also need to know the other things. I need to know how they think. I need to know how they feel about certain things. I need to know how they connect with me, because that tells me what is important to them in that area. So let me know if this supported you. Let me know if this made any sense to you, because I really want you to get super direct. So if you don't have those 25 prompts, I want you to get those 25 prompts. I've shared them in my Facebook group. If you are watching this from YouTube, please like and subscribe to this channel, and you can send me a DM or a comment, and I will send you the 25 prompts that will take you deeper into how your ideal client thinks, so that it does become simple for you to develop content that they need to hear and are looking for. Actually, they're looking for. Okay, so thank you so much for being here. Like I said, if this resonates with you, if you have questions, if you want more examples, please put that in the comments. If you want the 25 prompts, request that. Just put 25 prompts in the comments and I'll get those to you. And again, if you're watching this from YouTube, please like and subscribe. Bye.